Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It is a nice and rainy day here in New Jersey, but that's okay because I have a cool mod for the Miata today that I'm going to be installing. Ever since I bought the car, I've wanted to do this when I did more research on what direction I was going to go. And I picked up an NB OEM Nardi Miata steering wheel, and I feel like this is going to look great in the NA. Now, just a disclaimer, this is not going to be a direct bolt-on. There is a couple of modifications that you're going to have to do to make this steering wheel work with the NA Miata, but it's not too much work and it's pretty simple. So we're going to be going over that today. We're going to be installing the steering wheel, and it's going to be a good time because I know it's going to look good and it's going to feel good. People say this is a great upgrade and it's like a nice OEM plus for the car. I was going to do a quick release, but honestly, I don't know, I kind of just voted against doing it. People recommended me to go this route, and this was only $80 shipped. It is used, but it's in great condition, so I really can't complain. So anyways, no more talking. Let's get into the install. We're going to be pulling off the old stock, disgusting wheel in my car. We're going to be installing this. It's going to be a good time, and it's going to look good, so let's get right into it. So guys, first thing that you need to do is disconnect the battery. The reason why is because, you know, you have the airbag disconnecting the battery, and then once we wire this up, it's better to disconnect it. You don't want the airbag to go off, God forbid. So disconnect the battery, go in the trunk, take off the negative terminal, and you'll be safe. We're going to be wiring in the horn and the airbag from the NB wheel to the NA car. So there's like I said, a little bit of modification that has to be done, but the first step, disconnect the battery. Once you do that, then we're going to get into the install of how to get the steering wheel off, pulling this off, and then installing this and what we have to do to make this fit into this car. Alright guys, so now that the battery's disconnected, the second step that we're going to be doing is we're going to be removing the airbag from the steering wheel. There are 4 10mm nuts that you have to remove on the airbag of the steering wheel, 1 in each corner of the wheel. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to remove these 4. The airbag is going to pull off, and then it's going to give us access to the center where we're going to be disconnecting everything and pulling off the actual steering wheel. So there's 4 10mm nuts. 1, 2, 3, 4 in each corner. You're going to pull those off, and then we'll get into the next step. And just so you see where you guys are going to be disconnecting, you got one hole here that has a 10mm nut, another hole up here that has a 10mm nut, and then it's going to be the same on the other side of the steering wheel in the same locations. So it's got 1, 2, and then 3 and 4 are going to be on the other side. Once you remove these 1, 2, 3, 4, you're going to be able to take the airbag off, which is going to give us access to the center of the steering wheel, which we can actually finally pull the steering wheel off of the car. Alright, so we got the 4 bolts on the steering wheel on the airbag that are off, so now you should be able to just pry off the airbag like so, and there we go. So now we have this all disconnected right here. The 4 nuts are off on each corner, and now we got the connectors for the horn, and we got the connector for the airbag right there, which is going to be the next thing that we're going to be removing. And then we're going to be able to remove the 21mm nut in the middle of the steering wheel to be able to pull the wheel off. Okay, so now the horn right here is disconnected, and now we have the airbag disconnected from the car. So this is a 21mm nut that we're going to be removing. So just get your 21mm, place it right on there. Fits perfect. We're going to back this off, pull off the wheel, and then start getting to modifying the NB wheel to be able to fit onto the NA. Alright guys, so now we have the center nut loose. So now what I recommend is we're going to be pulling the wheel off. I recommend you leave the nut towards the end where it's about to come off, so that when you pull with the force you're going to be putting, sometimes the steering wheels get stuck. You won't smack yourself in the face when you pull the wheel off. So again, it's going to be hard to do it with one hand on camera, but basically once you start to, like I said, even mine, I can feel it's a little stuck right now that I'm even, you know, jerking it back and forth. You're going to put force when you pull it. So like I said, you don't want to hit yourself in the face. So leave the nut towards the end so that when you pull it, it'll stop, the nut will stop the wheel from hitting you. So again, it's kind of hard to do with one hand. I'm going to pull it off camera. Alright guys, so we have the NA steering wheel off of the car now, and let me show you the biggest difference when it comes to these 2 steering wheels. So here's the back of the NA wheel, and here's the back of the NB wheel. If you look at the clock spring here on the NA Miata, it has a vertical point 1 and 2 right here, going up and down. So 1, 2, that's where the steering wheel sits into place onto the clock spring of the car. The NB has 2 horizontal, 1, 2. So we're going to have to drill 2 holes up and down to be able to fit this steering wheel onto the clock spring of the NA. Obviously, if we don't, there's no way to install this wheel. And yeah, so we're gonna have to be drilling in 2 holes here, 1, 2. We're gonna have to find a way to mark. I'm gonna put maybe a little bit of grease or maybe a little bit of paint on these points, push this wheel on as far as it can go so it gives me a good reference of where the 2 points are, mark them, and then we're going to be drilling the 2 holes top and bottom so that it can fit onto the clock spring of the NA. Alright guys, so I put a little bit of grease right here on the clock spring, and it left 2 little marks here. So now I'm going to take the screwdriver right here with my mallet, and I'm going to do like a little punch hole to get this started, and then I'm going to match up one of my drill bits to the clock spring so that we can start drilling the holes into the back of the steering wheel. So I'm going to be taking my mallet and my screwdriver here, and then I'm just going to be where the marks are from the grease, make a little punch hole just so that we can get the drill started. There's one, and here's the second one. So once you do that, you have an indication of where you're going to start drilling for the clock spring. So I'm going to drill that out. Now guys, I'm going to recommend don't do this on your lap. It is raining outside, so I can't do it on the ground, and I don't want to do it inside to get all the metal shavings out inside my apartment. So I'm just going to send it in the car, which probably makes no sense, and especially on my lap, but we're going to do it. Just be super careful if you're going to do it this way, but I got the drill bit that's going to work. Camera's not focusing, but I got the drill bit. So we're just going to start where that is. There we go. It's not looking too heavy, it's not looking bad. All right. So I'm gonna reiterate this again. I do not recommend you drill in your car because I made a complete mess. Stupid on my part. I'm gonna vacuum it up though, no problem with that. But here we go. So we got the 2 holes, 1, 2, drilled out. They are pretty straight, not too deep either. You don't wanna go all the way through where you're gonna go through the front of the wheel. That's not what you wanna do either. But what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna place the steering wheel onto the clock spring to make sure that everything's aligned. So let me get this airbag connector through. So here we go. So we got the wheel on. It's got to make sure that it slips onto the clock spring. Oh, guys, we got it. We got it. It's on there. If you could see, the clock spring's going back and forth, and the steering wheel's moving back and forth as well. So we got it, guys. I mean, the drilling came out good, and I don't know if you could see the little black arrow right there, but the steering wheel is straight, and it's straight up and down with the arrow, so that means everything is aligned up and down, so it's good. So I put the nut on and tightened it up just a little bit, but just to get a feel for it. But guys, it worked, and I can tell 100% already right away that this steering wheel is a lot lighter than the OEM one that comes on the NA. So as you can see, we can move the wheel back and forth, give it an But yeah, so now we're going to get into the tricky part, which is going to be the wiring of the steering wheel to get the connectors, the horn, and the airbag to work. So guys, just a heads up, if you don't want to do this step, you don't care about an airbag light, you don't care about the horn working, you could just put everything together, tighten it all up, and you're done. You're good to go. But if you want to have a working horn, no airbag light, now, just a disclaimer, I don't know. I've checked a lot of forums. Nobody really knows if the airbag, when you wire it in to the NB to the NA, it actually works. I have no idea. I just know that the airbag light, when you do it right, does not come on. So I'm going to take that risk. If you guys don't want to, I understand that, but that's the risk you take when you're installing one of these steering wheels, okay? So if you don't want to wire anything up, so you don't care, like I said again, about the horn or the airbag, you can skip this part of the video. You're done. You put it all together. You're good to go. You could go driving. Perfect. But if you want a horn and you want the airbag light not to go on, stay tuned because we're going to go into the wiring of the NB airbag and horn to the NA part on the car. All right, guys, the first thing I'm going to be doing is the horn. The horn is super simple. So here's from the stock NA wheel. We're just going to snip this wire here, cut this. We're going to cut the wire on the NB wheel, and we're going to place the connector from the NA and wire it onto the NB wheel. I'm just going to be using regular quick butt connectors to connect both of these just to make it a simple and quick install. So we're going to cut this wire here, put them together and with the butt connector, and then that's going to be good to go. And then we're going to get into the airbag, which is going to be a little trickier. Alright guys, so we got the first connection done. So we have the wire from the NB steering wheel to the connector of the NA steering wheel horn. So this is done. It's not the prettiest in the world, but it's going to work. So this is going to be the simple connection. So now we got to get into the trickier part, which is going to be cutting up the airbag wires and connecting them together to then connect that into the car. Alright guys, so I already cut off the connector from the NA Miata steering wheel, which is right here for the airbag, and I already cut off the connector that came from the MB. So we're just going to put these two wires together. Now, from the research that I've done online, when it comes to these two wires, apparently there's no right or wrong. Each one could go to whatever, according to what all the forums that I've read say, and a couple of videos that I watched online on YouTube itself. So, according to that, you can literally choose whatever wire to go to each one, and it should work. Now again, that's what I saw, that's what I've read, that's the research that I've done, that I've seen. So that's what we're gonna do. So I'm just gonna strip these wires and just throw them in the butt connector, and yeah, just go from there. So, and just a little disclaimer too, there's like a little like tape or like a heat shrink that goes around both wires from both the NA and the MB. So you're gonna have to pull that back so you're able to strip the wires so that you can put them together. So just a heads up with that. So, mind you, I'm not a professional when it comes to wiring. I'm not very good when it comes to wiring. I can get by. I can do some things properly on my own. So, but I'm not great at it. Just so you guys, don't flame me in the comments if you guys do. I'm not great when it comes to this stuff. I'm okay. I can get by. So now that I had to put you guys through that horrid display of wiring, that I'm really sorry. Like I said, I'm not very good at wiring, but I can just get by with the simple stuff. This is what we have here. Like I said, it's not the prettiest, but we have the two butt connectors, and we have now the NA airbag connector onto the NB airbag itself. So now we're going to put the NB steering wheel back together with all like the NA stuff that is now in there, and we should be ready to go to tighten everything up, put the battery, connect that back in, and then see if what we did actually works. So let me put back the NB steering wheel together with everything. We're gonna put it back onto the car, tighten it up, connect the battery, and see if everything works. All right guys, so everything is on the wheel, horns, goes down, everything fit properly, everything moves together. Now, the last step, we're gonna be connecting the battery in the trunk. Hopefully the airbag just doesn't deploy. I don't think it will. I think we're okay. But once I connect the battery in the trunk, we're going to start it up, see if we have any lights, see if the horn works, and hopefully if all that works, the install was a success. So I'm going to connect the battery and hopefully hope to God that everything is okay. All right guys, so this is the moment of truth. Everything is connected. I put the battery back. Airbag hasn't deployed yet with the power. Let me Let me just get out of the way. Okay, everything seems to be on. Let me start it up. All right. Guys, it worked. I mean, as you can see, no airbag light is on, the car is running, and you can hear the horn is working. So that is a major success. Everything worked. So the wiring, like I said, with the airbag, it seems like it doesn't matter what goes to what. It's just one wire goes to each, and the horn is only one wire that you wire in. The butt connectors work. I got a working horn. Clearly, the airbag light is not on. So, like I said, major success with the install. Super simple. Altogether takes about 20 minutes. So I'm gonna wrap it all up. I'm gonna clean all up in here and end the video and let you know my thoughts about the steering wheel. So guys, the steering wheel was a major success. Everything works. The horn works. No airbag light. So all the wiring went together. Once again, guys, I am not good with wiring. So any novice that has even the minimal amount of knowledge of wiring can get this install done. It's super simple. Just got to be smart. The drilling of it, be smarter than me. Don't do it in your car. Again, it was pouring rain. I wanted to get this done because I have limited time during the week, and I have some parts coming for this car Friday, and I have something else coming on Saturday, so I want to be able to do those installs on the weekend, so that's why I wanted to get this done today. But yeah, guys, total success. I just want to point out, if you guys mess something up, this is the way that I did it. If something with the wiring, if your airbag for some reason goes off, if you don't disconnect the battery, that's on you guys. You know, don't try and come and blame me because I'm not responsible if you guys make mistakes when doing this install. Just to let you know, like I said, I'm not responsible if you guys make a mistake and something happens with your steering wheel, if something goes off, if something doesn't work. Again, it worked for me. I went step by step on how everything works and how it's done. So yeah, guys. But anyways, I like it a lot. I'm going to go take it for a drive right now. It feels a lot lighter than the NA one, I can already notice. And the 3-spoke design is a lot sportier. A nice OEM Plus look. I really like it. But guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video. These steering wheels, some people overprice them, but if you look hard enough, you can find really good deals on them. So yeah, guys, again, please like, comment, and subscribe. It lets YouTube know that I'm doing a good job. Hopefully you enjoy the install. Hopefully if you're debating on doing this install with an MB wheel in your NA, you just go for it. Again, it is super simple. Minimal tools needed. And again, hopefully the process was easy to follow. Again, I'm sorry for my terrible wiring skills. It's not my strong suit when it comes to cars, but I can get by doing things here and there. As you can see, everything worked for me. So anyways, guys, again, thanks. Like, comment, and subscribe. Again, it lets YouTube know that I'm doing a good job, and I will see you next time. Have a good day and stay safe.